There if you think you need one, and your assessment paper. So those are the things you need to bring. And what did I leave out?
Note card.
Your note card. So remember the note card I told you about last time? So a pen or pencil, your note card, a calculator if you think you need it, and your assessment paper. Now I want to talk about the format of the final for just a minute, and then I want to talk about the assessment paper. The final has 100 multiple choice questions on it, and so it's all multiple choice. Now, the way I usually do that is I usually don't use a Scantron on those. I have an answer sheet, and I'll have like, A, B, C, D, and you kind of blacken over the letter of your choice, and then I have a stencil I put on top. Now, the reason I do that is because I've never had a student that didn't really want to know what they made before they left. And so if I don't have to wait in line for the Scantron machine, I can grade those right when you turn them in. Immediately when you turn them in, I can grade it. I can get your average, and you can know as you leave what you made. So that's why I don't use the Scantron. But here's my problem. Starting last spring, they make us do this pre and post test stuff. So I have to post test you, and it has to be with the Scantron because I have to run statistics on how many got A correct, number 1 correct. So here's what I'm going to do. I started working on it this morning. All your questions on your post test are embedded in your final. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight each of the questions that goes to the post test, and I'm going to give you a Scantron to fill out as you go. So you might be like the 5th question down, it might say number 1 on the post test. So you'll go to the Scantron and color in number 1. That way you can do them at the same time. And I'll provide the Scantron. Okay? Now I won't have those post test scores ready for you that day. It'll be probably during Christmas I'll run all that stuff and do all my statistics for the administration. So does anybody have a question about the test itself?
The post test is count against you?
That doesn't count at all, the pre-test or the post-test. If you look on the end grade, in kind of light gray, near that will say not graded, so it doesn't count as your grade at all.
Can you explain the note card again?
Yeah, on the note card you can put anything you want, any information from the semester. The only rules are it has to be handwritten. So it can't be typed on a computer and then shrunk to fit. So anything you don't think you can remember when you get to the test.
It is front and back.
Front and back. All right, now another thing I want to tell you about the test. This final, I've used the same final for some years. And I've forced all the people who teach nutrition at PC to use the same final too. So everyone who takes nutrition here has the same final exam, and then we compare scores. The nursing department has a copy of the final, so they approve sort of what topics I cover and what my expectations are. I get them from the nursing program. So I think that if you can do well on the final, that indicates to me that you've learned what I wanted you to learn. Because the point of taking the class is really not just to kind of mark some time for the semester or to get a grade, but the point is to learn the information you need to go on with whatever it is you're trying to do, isn't it? So, in my opinion, if you are able to make an A on the final, you deserve an A in the class. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I can see you say that.
So, here's the deal. If you turned everything that you need to into me, so if you've turned in your diet dilemmas, you've turned in your assessment paper, everything's turned in, and so let's say your average is a C. If you're able to pull out an A on this comprehensive final exam, I'm going to give you an A for the class. So here's your opportunity. If your grades aren't what you want them to be, but you think you finally have caught on and you kind of know what's going on, here's your chance. Put some study time in. Do a really good job on that note card and make the highest possible grade you can make on that final exam. Okay. So does anybody have a question about the final? Yeah, Rob.
So what if I don't have anything to me?
Get it turned in. I'll still take anything.
Yeah.
I'll take anything up to the time you walk in and take your final exam.
What about if we don't have a calculator, but we have an iPod?
I have a calculator you can borrow.
Because I'm just saying, you can't really associate with anybody on an iPod.
That's true. I have several extra calculators I'll bring with you. Anybody else have a question about the test? So you'll have a whole, is it 2.5 hours? It's 11 to 1:30, so you'll have that whole time to take the test. Now, when you come into the classroom, I want you to turn in your assessment paper. And so let me remind you what I want for that assessment paper. Now, I'm hoping that as the semester has gone by, you've been filling out that worksheet that we worked on some in class. Because if you have, it's going to be really easy to put your paper together. All you're going to do is summarize each part. And so you're going to say, for example, in terms of carbohydrates, I'm getting too much of this and not enough of this. And so that means my health risk or this and this, and here's what I can do about it. In terms of proteins, here's what my thing showed, here's what it means as far as my health goes, and here's what I can do about it. Well, if you have deficiencies in ones, you want to pick those out, and you should be able to use your diet dilemma to help you do that. You already wrote that all down in your diet dilemma, right? Now, the way I grade that thing is when you turn in, I look to see that it's really complete. I'm looking to see that you really thought about each thing, and you try to be thorough. And if it's thorough, what do you think your grade's going to be? A 100. If it looks to me like you didn't really look into it much, or you didn't, try to look at the particular vitamins that you were deficient in and what that could mean, it'll be points off. So everyone starts with 100. And then it's points off depending on how thorough you are. And remember, that counts as a test grade. So even if you're not able to, pull the rabbit out of the hat by making a tremendous score on the final, you can still improve your average a whole lot by doing a good job on that. Now, I'll read that while you're working on your test, and I'll have it ready for you to take with you when you leave. So I'm not going to keep those. They're yours to take back.
So we already have a grade on it?
I'll rate it while you work on your test.
Yeah.
No, you're the source. No sources. So does anybody have any questions about what to expect on that final day, or what to bring, or anything like that? Any questions?
Do you have to turn the nutrition worksheets, the assessment worksheets?
A lot of people turn them all in, and that way, just in case there's something that I'm not seeing in your write-up, I can say, oh, well, they did do that. But if you do a thorough job, you just stick and turn in your report. Doesn't have a limit. If you just have to do a thorough job of assessing yourself. It can be short or long, depending on what you've got to say. Anybody else have a question? Now, what about these measurements? Anybody having a question about the waist measurement, anything like that? Does anybody need me to do their percent body fat form before they go this morning?
Fine.
Any more questions? All right, well, then I'll see you guys on Monday. Hope you have a great weekend, and please study. I
You missed it, girl.
everybody in this whole class will take an A.
Bro, you missed it.
Study.
So,